Hey everyone, let me check the time here. Okay. Yeah, you know, I want to talk about a website, kind of a seller's website, merchandise website, or merchant website. Well, basically, let's just call it a flea market online website. Now, we all know about eBay, right? We all know that when you go to eBay, you can do things two ways. You can automatically, depending on the item and the seller, you can automatically buy the item. Or on the other hand, you can bid for the item. And sometimes you can be successful, sometimes you can't be. There have been several times where I've been successful and I haven't been successful. Probably the best example of me being successful was spending $200 something back when I lived in Kansas to get the very rare Sega World Princess Sally plush. But then on the other hand, we also know places like Amazon. And of course, Amazon, it's basically an online store, and it also partners with several outside merchants as well. Sometimes those outside merchants depend on Amazon to fulfill what they are selling. And sometimes those outside merchants will, basically sell through Amazon, but they will take a piece of the profit, like through shipping and all that. So even let's say you have the Amazon Prime, so let's say you even have Amazon Prime on your account, you still get charged the shipping because of the outside merchant that you're buying the item from. But then you got places like iOffer, and as I talked about previously before, and about few years ago, iOffer.com is kind of a combination of both, in a sense. It's basically like eBay, but different. You see, unlike eBay, you're not bidding, depending on who you buy from, you're making an offer. Now, like Amazon, they have a variety of things to buy from. They have pictures, mugs, lamps, if you will. They got all kinds of stuff. Clothing. But one of the most prolific things that I look at, and I like to get from it, is the video libraries. In other words, what DVDs are they selling? You know what I mean? And you see, that's the one thing about iOffer, unlike eBay or Amazon. True, iOffer, sometimes depending on the merchant, the seller, will use Amazon.com payments, which is pretty cool. But then on the other hand, sometimes they'll just use regular payments, whether it's a credit card, debit, check, PayPal, you name it. And as for me, I looked at iOffer as sort of a decent online flea market to go to. A decent online flea market to go around and shop if you don't have that much money. Now, for me, I've been sort of on and off with iOffer over the past few years. True, iOffer, like eBay, like Amazon, like any online merchant site, has had its controversies and troubles, but still has stood to this day. Now, one of the things about iOffer, when it comes to like their DVDs and stuff, and VHSs, yes, VHSs and Blu-rays and whatever, is you get a variety of things you don't see normally from Amazon or eBay. Let me give you an example. From my own personal experience, and I've been, like I said, on and off with iOffer over the past, believe it or not, almost 8 years. I think it's going to be 8 years this upcoming summer. So I've been back and forth with them. And I've actually purchased and gained a lot of stuff from them. Normally, that you would have to wait maybe a month or so for an official DVD release, if you will. And some things you may never see an official DVD release or even Blu-ray release. I'll give you an example. One of the first things I bought was the edited, and this is true, edited Plunder and Lightning movie pilot from Tailspin. I followed that up later on with a couple of Popeye cartoon shorts that I purchased as well. That's right, I followed that up with a couple of Popeye shorts I had purchased as well. Around this same time, I also got a variety disc, or a variety DVD, of several cartoons that the seller of the Tailspin Plunder and Lightning had also in his collection. And he worked with me by giving me this variety disc, full of Goof Troop episodes, 2 prolific Goof Troop episodes, I believe, 3 Aladdin episodes, believe it or not, Dexter's Laboratory, 2 of those episodes, 2 Darkwing Duck episodes, and so on. So I got a decent, for a decent price, I got that. Then I followed that up with, of course, getting a copy of WrestleMania 23. Or was it 22? No, it was WrestleMania 22 from a merchant. That's right, I had gotten WrestleMania 22 from an individual off iOffer almost a little after it was on pay-per-view. I followed that up by getting TNA Bound for Glory 2007, and then a year or so later followed that up by getting WrestleMania 24. I did get 23, but I can't remember if I got 23 from this merchant or not before I ended up officially buying it. But I did get WrestleMania 24. Now you might say, well, did you record WrestleMania 24? Yeah, on VHS. But I had no means of getting it transferred yet. Anyway, yeah, I had purchased WrestleMania 24 from this individual. Then, as history has shown, and when you take a look at my history with iOffer, I got season 7 finale of American Idol. I can't remember why, but I think it's because my mom was working. Well, not working, but I think was either attending class or something, attending a college class, night class at Las Positas College. And I don't know if I had forgotten to record it or if I was working with my brother-in-law. I don't know. So, I ended up purchasing season 7 from a seller off iOffer 24 hours after it had already aired. And then, to top that off, I had gotten the GoBots and Battle of the Rock Lords, plus the Gobotron GoBots miniseries pilot saga on DVD. And I had gotten Sonic Underground on DVD, and I believe I even had a few other things. I think I even got a sample of Rocco's Modern Life, or something. And basically, it's with the episode Rinse and Spit, or something like that. Because basically this cartoon, Rinse and Spit of Rocco's Modern Life, starts off with him, well, kind of transitions over to him at the beginning, basically covering his face with a whole freaking of toothpaste and then changing it into different other faces and items, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I purchased, a good amount, and for decent prices. Some were like 10 or a little under $10, 15, 20. Not too bad when you think about it. 20, 23, under 23. I think the most I ever spent was just below 25, and that's saying something. Now, you might ask, are there some disadvantages or some advantages? Well, I'll give you this. The advantages are you save some money. And because some of the sellers, don't even add shipping costs. They don't. But then on the other hand, some of the disadvantages is you don't know how you're going to get the item intact. You don't know if maybe just because you want to save money, you may not get the item in a DVD case. Just because you want to save money. You don't know that. In fact, I remember I got a sample from one of the sellers off iOffer, I think for free, of Alex Mack of the first few seasons, to give me an idea of what I would have gotten if I decided to go with the entire series. And again, some of them were sent in cases, some of them weren't. Kind of get what I'm saying? Kind of following? So those are some of the disadvantages. You want to save money, that's fine, but expect maybe just to have them in like jewel sleeve cases, and that's it. That's how I got Sonic Underground. So, there are disadvantages and advantages. The advantages are you save money, depending on who you buy from. The disadvantages, you may have to go out and buy your own DVD cases down the line because you may just get jewel sleeves and all that. On the other hand, though, another positive about this is what you could buy from some of them, especially when it comes to like DVDs and Blu-rays, and even VHSs if that's the case. I mean, for example, for example, I recently got the complete series of Mighty Ducks from Media Bailout, from a people called Media Bailout, and they just sent the item out today. It's all 26 episodes, and it's in a DVD case. Now, that's good and everything for about $18.96, not too bad, right? But this is again another positive. The positive being the fact that a lot of these merchants, sellers that sell these DVDs, if not Blu-rays, if they're able to do it, Blu-ray copies of animated and live action shows and all that from like the past 20, 30 years, if you will. They're basically selling them because normally you would not see them on DVD or Blu-ray otherwise. You wouldn't be able to own them on DVD or Blu-ray otherwise. That's what iOffer does. That's what some of these sellers and merchants, especially when it comes to the home video aspect of things, the reason they sell this kind of stuff. That's why they sell multiple copies of all these things, because it's the only way you're going to own any kind of DVD, Blu-ray copy or release or unofficial release or whatever of a show or even movie that you like. But it's not yet been officially released on DVD or Blu-ray. It's the only way you're going to be able to own them. It is. It is the only way. And some people, what they do is they go out of the way. Sometimes they'll go and use things like Windows DVD Maker or any other DVD making software to create a menu for you to put the episode so that you can, when you put it in your DVD or Blu-ray player, you can watch and select the episode you want. I got Silver Surfer from iOffer.com, just to mention, the complete 90s series. And it's on one disc, all 13 episodes. So some people also give you that high quality standard. Yeah, they'll give you that high quality standard by saying, hey, we'll give, okay, for example, with the Mighty Ducks deal, it's 6 to 7 episodes on 4 discs. So basically the guy is giving me it basically sold to me what would be essentially a DVD, an official DVD release if Disney ever decided to do it officially. But you kind of get to, it's kind of like Sonic Sat AM when Shell Factory did that. So, in other words, that's what you get. That's what iOffer allows people like Media Bailout and other people out there, other merchant sellers to do. Especially with the home video kind of thing, allow them to sell to you, us, the consumer, DVDs and Blu-rays of stuff that we normally wouldn't see on DVD and Blu-ray unless some companies and studios finally got off the butts and made it happen. So, iOffer, yes, has a lot of advantages, has some disadvantages depending on who you buy from, but it is worth looking into. And that's all I'm going to say. Let me get your comments from it. Zero Nice Rack. If you're somewhere out there, let me know what you think. And I'll talk to y'all later. But to me, you need to check out iOffer.com today. And this is not an advertisement. This is just for my consumer's own personal experience. Peace out. God bless.